Welcome back, you lovely people, to our latest week of Quake Pro League. My name's Ketchup, joined by the always talented Flea and DJ Wheat. Pleasure to have you here, just
It's
in
great to be here.
time for a
Yeah.
heavyweight matchup. It's going to be vengeurR, it's going to be cypher. Everyone's excited for it. We're excited for it. Starting with you, Wheat. What do you think?
I mean, the last few weeks we've had these great matchups here in which we've had two players who are neck and neck, are basically tied and or, right next to one another. And this is one of those matchups. vengeurR is in the number one spot. He has a 5-2 record with a map record of 15-6. cypher, number two, also with a similar record, 12-9 maps with 5-2 series. And, vengeurR is a player that I know every time it pops up, chat gets really excited. He is a newer player, younger. He's got a ceiling that you just cannot see how high it is. And that is exciting to see in a player that's performing as well as he is. And, cypher is cypher, right? He is the cypher legacy. And so this is, again, another one of those where it's like, we're going to get fireworks and we're going to get drones with those fireworks. And then we're going to get more fireworks. I'm just so excited for this matchup. Flea, what do you think?
I mean, I think that if you would have showed anyone today's lineup, this would probably have been the number one game, the big hitter of the evening. And indeed, I don't think there's any doubt that it will be an amazing match. Wheat, you already mentioned it yourself. These two are neck to neck for the first place in Europe. Both players tremendously talented. vengeurR keeps getting better every single week, it seems. If we look back at his previous LAN performances or his finals performances, he finished 5th, then 4th, and then 3rd place back to back to back. So he's only getting better. It's only a matter of time before he gets his big win. And then on the other hand, cypher, one of the absolute titans of the scene, but someone who had a pretty disappointing showing on the last big tournament where he lost both of his games instantly. So definitely looking for revenge, I feel like, and hungry to get a win today.
Now, we are moments away from actually starting our first map, but we're going to have to go through those picks and bans to kind of see what the journey's going to be. Because from the looks of things in the lobby alone, I think we're in for quite an interesting one. It's going to be Doom versus Strog on Corrupted Keep. Ruins coming out to play again, but this time cypher getting that kill on Ruins, something that we've seen do quite a lot of damage historically versus the Ison from vengeurR. And then finally, Molten Fools, Slash, and Strog again, which I don't think is correct, but I'm sure we'll find out. Yeah, Strog is being used in map 1, I believe. I can see cypher already having it ready. So it might actually be Athena down there. Either way, we'll actually see what happens a little bit later. Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, nevertheless, interesting lineup. Difficult to say now because it's not entirely clear which are the correct champion picks. So I find it hard to comment on this.
I believe Molten's the one that might be different because cypher has Strog ready here on Corrupted in the lobby.
Okay, I imagine so. So first one will be Corrupted Keep. Let's just focus on that one for now. It will be Doomslayer versus Strog. Both champions with quite a bit of mobility. Doom, of course, has got that vertical mobility. Very powerful around the mega area of this map because you can jump straight up to the LG part of the arena, whereas Strog, of course, has got that beast speed moving around the map and, of course, the peeker as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big question that keeps swirling in my mind is like, what? I have no idea what the results are going to be. Usually, Ketchup is like, all right, what do you think? What are your predictions here? And I honestly have no idea. I'm gonna at least say that I don't see either of these players taking a 3-0. I mean, it's certainly possible one of them goes into beast mode, but at the caliber that both of these are playing and the level that they're both playing, I find it really hard to see a complete blowout. I think it's going to be 2-1. If I had to make a decision, I'll go with the individual who's managed to hold on to the number one spot for most of this stage, and I'm going to say vengeurR 2-1. But I don't feel great about it because it's really hard to call.
I feel like I'm in the same boat as you, Wheat, to be honest, because it is going to be a really good match either way. I feel like that's almost guaranteed. don't want to curse it, of course, but vengeurR, he's always a player that's quite motivated to recover from a defeat as well. And he's likely to go into this week, I think, pretty motivated and just looking to correct any kind of mistakes that he's made previously, because he takes losses quite hard. He's always striving for number one because he knows he has what it takes to reach that point. So he could absolutely bring that A game and then some. So for that reason, I think 2-1 vengeurR as well. Flea, what do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and follow you guys on this one. I just think that overall, cypher, when he's got a great day, there's nothing that can stop him. But vengeurR has just got that consistency. If we look back a little bit further than just this series alone, or rather this stage alone, looking back at stage 4 of season 1, as well as the finals, vengeurR was just on the top pretty much all the time, winning every single game nearly until the very end of the last stage. So I think that when it comes to consistency, he probably has cypher beat right now, and that is why I'm also going to say 2-1 for vengeurR.
You know, I just got to throw it out there. Lamprey666 says Cooler did put his blessings onto cypher. There is no way he will lose, and that did happen last week. So you know, something to sort of factor in. But chat is so split down the middle. It's like there is not a consistent prediction at all, which is also very exciting.
I tell you what, and that is to the surprise of no one. On the subject of chat, I'm going to go jump in and join you because I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Flea and Wheat to take the match. So, lads, take it away.
Thank you, Ketchup. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like Flea, these are the matches that you can't predict are usually some of the best matches that you're ever gonna get, right? And it's exciting even to throw something out there. I'm always okay being wrong in these types of situations because players surprise us all the time, and both of these players have that potential, that possibility to surprise us in ways that we did not expect.
Oh, absolutely. And if there's one player who can really surprise, I think it's cypher, right? The man is just, he's always been this prodigy when it comes to Quake. Limitless talent, very unorthodox player who can just read the matrix, right? All he sees when he plays Quake are just the green ones and zeros scrolling down the screen. So the man can come up with a solution to just about everything, but he will have to beat down vengeur's consistency and those incredible rockets that he's so well known for to get there.
Yeah, I mean, vengeur's been an awesome player to watch, and you see it, you know, from the chat every time he comes on. I mentioned that people get so excited; they love to see how much he's improved. And I actually want to make a call back to one of his first interviews that we did during stage 1, and it was one of the very early weeks. And you know, in talking about sort of him improving his play, it was obvious that you know not only is he putting the time into the game, but he's also trying to find that, you know, mentally where he feels like he needs to be. And I think for a player like vengeurR that we've seen improving, you know, focusing on sort of the mental side of the game, not being upset if you lose a map or understanding how to mold better to the other players that you're playing against. You know, he called out some of the skill sets that Rafa has that he would love to adopt and get better at. And I think that we've seen that actually happen a little bit over, you know, over this stage. And this is probably, you know, definitely one of his toughest tests for cypher. You know, neither of these players are in any sort of danger of, you know, not being in a great spot for the finals. But as we all know, being in that top spot, it's a lot of momentum to carry into the finals. And so I would imagine that cypher wants that badly, whereas vengeurR wants to hold on to that lead that he's had for a majority of the stage.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And I do agree with what you just said. I think that vengeurR, one of his biggest strengths is just that he's an incredibly talented player. He's very twitchy, but that's also kind of been one of his downsides, right? He needs someone to be able to rein in the holds on him, because sometimes you can just tell that he feels so confident in his aim, which is of course exceptional, that he sometimes tends to forgo positioning or maybe even strategy just to chase down a kill when he really shouldn't. And I think that's one of the things that he's really been working on the most. If you compare him the way he plays now between when he played last year, there's a very clear difference in that. You can see that he's got a much more controlled and much more balanced playstyle, like you said, that does remind more of Rafa. So it's clear that he's trying to draw inspiration from some of the greatest players in all time just to improve his game even further.
Yeah, and I mean, some of that you can't necessarily force on yourself, right? Some of that just comes from experience, just comes from playing over and over. So I would imagine that in the QPL, both in and outside of the league, right, he's trying to gather and gain as much experience as he can, because trying to catch up to the experience of someone like Cypher, who has traveled around the world, who has played against some of the top players on stage in from the lower bracket to the upper bracket, like so many different variances of experience that cypher brings to the table. So overcoming that is difficult, but vengeur's been a player that has obviously shown us throughout last year, or last season, and this season already, that he's got what it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. But today he's facing one of the most abrupt opponents he could possibly go up against, Cypher, and it looks like both players are readying up in chat, and we will be loading into the map momentarily. So chat, for the final game of the day, make some noise. Let me hear who you want to win. I want to see some ciphers. I want to hear some love for the maestro boy vengeurR. Make some noise, give it up, as we are about to jump into the first map of our final series, Na'Vi Cypher versus maestro vengeurR.
Yeah, this the next 3 maps that we're going to see here for the second featured match is really exciting. I think it's going to be a knockout, drag out battle from the start to the finish. Starting things off on Corrupted Keep is kind of a treat. We're going to get high octane. We're going to see what mindset these players are in, who's going to take that initial lead and could dictate the rest of the series. So I'm pretty excited that Corrupted Keep is actually going to be our first map, because we get to start with that super fast pace, and it should be a good one. So as you mentioned, we're about ready to go in, and this is week 11, a couple weeks left. So every game, every win, every map is important to secure that spot as you head into the stage 1 finals. And we are so close. Ketchup said it earlier. It's hard to believe that it is, here already. We're almost there. But that just shows just how exciting every week has been.
Absolutely, and on that note, we are kicking things off, starting on vengeur's perspective. He will be running the Doomslayer. Of course, one of the things that he will have to be most careful of is the Peeker. There is no railgun on the map, and that is, of course, the ideal counter against that ability. And we saw that in the previous game, right? Avec used the Peeker so effectively to get a few kills and do a lot of damage, and vengeurR has to be ready for that.
vengeurR with a nice read, starting things off right away. His opponent went for that rocket launcher, landed a rocket himself. Got a little bit of control here, gets some great LG damage right off the bat. Cypher answering back, and both players incredibly low. Peeker coming out, looking for a target, but gets shot down mid-air. vengeurR grabs that Mega and is back up, an LG in his hands as well. Needs to get a light. There it is for him. But what an interesting way to start. I thought we were going to see our first frag there, but nicely done by both players.
Yep, vengeurR very patiently approaching that Peeker and waiting until he knew that he could take it down with one blast of the super shoddy. Very calculated play right there. Now when we look at the item timing, there's very little delay between both of them, so it really doesn't seem like either player will be able to set up a good rotation unless vengeurR might secure himself a frag right there, takes down the Peeker with a good rocket, and both items will be secure. But this time around, though, Heavy 5 seconds behind. Even more so, Cypher still denying it, leaving it up for nearly 10 whole seconds. This could be the beginning of full dominance control, because I don't think that vengeurR knows when the Heavy is spawning.
Yeah, Cypher definitely trying to play that chess match, right? Thinking several moves ahead. vengeurR has had control, but I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. Coming into the main room here, we see vengeurR get some early LG damage off, and he is just trying to chase down his opponent. Sitting on top of that Heavy, not quite up yet, and he's going to have to retreat, and that will give Cypher access to what might be his first Heavy of the game. Nope, actually his third. I was completely wrong on that one. But I meant to say vengeurR anyway. That's my bad. But he, I mean, where the control is going to come from, we're gonna see. But both players kind of splitting the map a little bit, exchanging blows in the middle. But we've yet to see that first frag.
Yep, and that was exactly the chat that you were talking about. But here we see another engagement. Looks like both players will once again break away, but find each other towards the small armor. cypher uses the peeker, but probably didn't quite account for the fact that vengeurR could get that extra height, and he dodges yet another rocket in midair. Wait, after almost 3 minutes of nothing really happening, we get 3 frags in mere seconds.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like a lot of players would have made that same decision right there, right? Knowing that his opponent is very, very low, just needs to get a little bit of damage off. He did manage to get it. Or, you know, cypher did bring a frag back. vengeurR in an LG battle there in the light room, and we're just going to be tied back up 2-2 as we are now following cypher, who just tied the game up with that little exchange. Mega is up, and he is going to grab it, and there we're going to see that 10-second delay may play out in his favor for the first moment here. He's got to worry about vengeurR up top, and he's going to push him away with that LG while he grabs it. Doesn't come out of there super healthy, but still denies it. vengeurR definitely in a worse spot. Is cypher going to be able to capitalize on this? The LG coming out, peeker looking for a target, cannot find it. Still 2-2.
Really good play from cypher right there. Instead of choosing to chase his opponent down, he just went for the small armor, knowing that he did the most damage and that he was in the best situation to just cycle the items once again. But vengeurR, these phenomenal rockets from above. Player from Belarus, representing Na'Vi, does manage to get out, but he is hurt. He is tender. vengeurR smells blood in the water. Can he find him? Of course, he has to first catch the Strog. He is fast with that crouch slide weed.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. cypher so low on that one. Gets some nice long-range machine gun damage right there. And but cypher still with that low health count is going to get a little bit of LG, and even more up top after sending peeker out, grabbing that heavy. But man, I've not really seen cypher be playing with like 100 health. It's always been under 100 health, and that just goes to show what vengeurR is doing in terms of damage. But vengeurR is in the danger zone right now. He finally picks up a 25 himself. He's back up to 78. And cypher grabs that mega, makes a rocket jump over the side, misses that rocket into the side room. But we're going to find a fight here right on the bridge. Coming out of the teleporter, the LG stays locked on, and cypher takes the lead with that one.
Yep, cypher pushed him back far enough that he knew that initial momentum would carry him right back out through the teleporter, so he just waited and got himself the frag. Now, if you look at the items, though, cypher actually has managed to pick up 16, make that 17 major items, compared to vengeurR, who's sitting on just 4. The only reason that this is such a close game is because vengeur's aim has been phenomenal, and he is out-damaging cypher by several hundreds of points of damage right now, and that is still keeping this such a competitive and close game.
Yeah, that's actually really impressive. And cypher... LG has kind of been his saving grace right there, but it can't save him this time as we tie back up 3-3. And, you know, we talked about how this was going to be a tough game to call. This was going to be explosive matchup, and you're seeing it here. 5 minutes have gone by, almost the 6-minute mark, tied 3-3, and there are certainly dueling blows back and forth. vengeurR, though, is going to take the lead, making it 4-3 now in his favor with a nicely placed rocket on that bridge.
Getting cypher on the jump at DLG. Perfect. Just locking on. Absolutely nowhere for cypher to run in that situation. Now Mega's about to spawn. cypher dropping down, trying to do a little bit of damage at least. But it will be vengeurR walking away stronger. He's got the item timings. He's got all the weapons he needs as well. And he's got the better positioning moving on to heavy. This is a tall order for cypher to break this control.
He also long beeped him there, you know, and you get so many LG hits that it just sounds like one continuous beep rather than a bunch of small ones. Love to see it. Hate to be on the other side of it. Peeker did come out there, cypher anticipating his opponent. Maybe coming through that upper hallway. He does grab that mega, but vengeurR looks and feels like he has full control here, not only in the score, but also in the items. Going to drop down LG assault as he's going to force cypher out. And, you know, he is choosing where these battles are going to happen, choosing where cypher is allowed to go. And with that 2-frag lead, great spot to be in. trying to get those last little hits off on his opponent as the Mega is about to come up. Oh, he misses it, but I don't even, well, vengeurR saw that it wasn't there. A beautiful rocket onto that light. And is he going to be able to clean it up right here? No, he can't, but still some amazing play.
cypher landing that direct rocket from down below was so clutch. If he didn't land that shot, vengeurR probably would have just bullied him and secured yet another frag. That was a very important bit of damage to do. Now cypher. Oh, very impressive use of the tri-bolt right there. Not always the most effective weapon, very situational, but when it hits hard. And now vengeurR on the back foot. Has to give up some ground to cypher, who just secured the Mega. He's making his way over to the Heavy. Things are not safe yet for the Italian.
Yeah, this is a scary spot to be in. You know, he's down in stack. He does have the lead, but you know, this map's small, right? A lot can happen. And there we see the LG coming out, and 2 rockets cannot reposition cypher as he does get it one step closer to tying this game back up. It is 5-4. An excellent little assault there coming out as he crouch slides around the corner and hits all the LG that he needs to. Now, can he follow up with this last frag? vengeurR does have that ability to stay in those back hallways to kind of make him chase and run, but he's given cypher the map right now. He's got a full stack. He's going to find himself on top of the statue. LG versus LG from top to bottom. Peeker comes out, does do a little bit of damage, but not enough. vengeurR is going to run away. cypher stack has been ticked down, and we're about to hit 1 minute left, and this is all on cypher to tie this one up.
And indeed he does. Don't even need to wait to see it. Good rocket off the spawn as well. More information than anything, but that 20 points of damage will help in the end. Stacks basically identical right now. Mega will be the next major item to spawn. vengeurR's got the high ground, but cypher, the rockets from below, rockets from Belarus, strong as always. He wants this item. He does not want to give it up just yet. And vengeurR doesn't manage to do as much damage as he would have liked.
Yeah, getting that Mega is going to be big. It's going to all be up to this Heavy now. cypher down to 51 points health. He's going to have to back off. He might have to give that one up. He's going to wait outside the teleporter, firing some tri-bolt spam. And, of course, vengeurR's not going to be falling for that one. And so I think both players just going to slow it down, gear down a couple, and let this one hit that clock so it'll come down to that final frag. We said this one was going to be close. We didn't know how to call it, and this is exactly why. 5-5 here at Sudden Death coming into the room. A huge direct rocket, and oh my God, vengeurR keeps the LG locked and takes the frag in the first 10 seconds of overtime. Crazy end to that game.
That was all about the weapon selection right there. cypher just was not ready for the push, right? You could see him switch to heavy machine gun. Why? Because he was expecting vengeurR to be all the way over towards LG to try and do some long distance damage. But then the moment that he zooms in, vengeurR comes blazing through the doorway. That's the situation where you need to have the LG out to stop the momentum, push him back straight down, but he didn't. And he had to switch to a lightning gun. And by the time that he managed to do that, vengeurR was right on top of him. cypher dropped down, and that was all she wrote. Very aggressive, but a calculated, risky play from the Maestro player. Well done, vengeurR.
Very, very well done. You know, that one moment, too, where you're like, okay, I hit that direct rocket. That's really good. But as you mentioned, right, weapon selection, being caught with the wrong weapon out can be real rough. And vengeurR had the perfect advantage on the top there. Nicely done, as he's going to take that map 6-5. And I wouldn't be surprised if every single one of these games actually went into overtime the way that they are playing. Some great frags on that one. Both players putting all their heart and soul into it. But vengeurR comes out on top, and it puts himself one step closer to holding on to that #1 spot.
Absolutely. Now the next map is going to be something else entirely. We're moving away from the very small tight corridors of Corrupted Keep into Ruins of Sarnet, which is a far larger and more open map. And we are going to see vengeurR, it seems like, play the ice and go up against cypher on the Keel. And we've seen Keel used on this map to great effect. That said, Eisen is also a staple pick because that turret gives you so much information, and there's a lot of very useful places to put it down to help you out in the middle of a fight, such as down below towards the heavy armor. So this should be a pretty evenly matched game, I do feel like. But the biggest decide, or our biggest new factor that's being introduced right now, Wheat, is of course the railgun. We didn't have a rail on Corrupted Keep, and that could spell a completely different outcome.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll probably see that early on, right? Just like what happened in our last game between Avic and Sparty. You know, Sparty was showing a very impressive rail in game 1 on Koth, and he carried that right into game 3, where it inevitably did help him win that series. We haven't yet seen it come out, but we both know that these players and a railgun in their hands is certainly a very, very deadly weapon. How will that play in? We're gonna have to wait and see. But after a very intense game, I'm sure both of them are just kind of like taking a breather, getting ready to reset on this one, because as you mentioned, have to kind of reset, re-rack, and play a little bit different game.
Yep, absolutely. And now we're loading into the second map, so we'll jump into the game very shortly. This is the final series of the night. For those of you just joining us, vengeurR won the very first map, an extremely close game, went all the way into overtime, but now we're jumping into map 2. Can vengeurR ride down the victory on Ruins already, or are we going to jump into the tiebreaker after this? We're about to find out.
Yeah, what a matchup it was, and I'm sure vengeurR is going to be entering this one with a smile on his face, knowing like, hey, I'm just one map away from holding on to that #1 spot. I mean, for cypher to grab that, it'd be a big accomplishment, but he's got to win these next 2 maps, obviously. So here we go, 3, 2, 1. We're on Ruins, and we're going to be kicking things off, looking through vengeur's eyes as he is going to get a spawn that allows him to grab the Mega. I'm going to have the turret go down there in the room leading down to the Heavy and in Rail Room, and we are going to see cypher grab that Heavy. So there we see that rail come out. First rail it goes to vengeurR, but we see cypher answer right back, Flea.
Yep, immediately with the clapback. He is not going to let that go unchallenged. So far, though, both players rather passively, right? Kind of what you suggested, Wheat, taking a bit of a breather, not rushing into things, because this is an incredibly important map. cypher not dropping down straight away, expecting the LG to be pulled, and indeed, getting that right. So we're watching vengeurR, yeah.
I mean, a lot of respect, right? Especially after a game like that, and not surprising. It's always one of my favorite things to see. I know a lot of people are like, come on, fight, do it, rush at it, but it's just right, like the way that their LGs are going and the rockets that are hitting and some of those initial rails. There's that flick rail and some of that flick action, and a second one coming out from vengeurR. Can he find a third? Oh, you see cypher just peek right around that corner. Can't pull that one out, but we're gonna have the Heavy coming up here in just a moment. vengeurR is going to get that one clean, completely unanswered, and they might meet up here. Turret is going to be redeployed, and now a fight at the Mega. vengeurR is looking like he might be able to hold on to both of these items, and it put him in a great spot to try to take that first frag.
vengeurR caught looking the wrong way there for a moment. Luckily for him, cypher missed the shot, and cypher, of course, struggling a bit with the larger size of his champion. Not always coming out on top on these rail engagement, and that is allowing vengeurR to secure a decent rotation. 12 seconds between the items, and he's looking very good to take both of them once again. He knows exactly where cypher is. Can he lock him down? No. cypher does manage to drop down towards a Heavy. Admiral effort from vengeurR, though, as he's setting up for Mega already.
Yeah, I mean, right now, vengeurR is just sitting with just perfect timing right now on these 2 items. I'm wondering, what is cypher going to do to try to interrupt this cycle, this pattern that vengeurR has kind of established for himself here. Grabbing that Heavy. Well, here he's going to try to force a fight at the Mega. Some nice rockets thrown out on the platform. A very, very close cypher with a little bit more armor. He is going to be able to take it away, but a rail comes out. And vengeurR is in rail position. cypher's going to get the first frag with that LG and putting him on the board 1-0.
cypher, for his sake, I hope the railgun can finally kick into gear. Cypher is currently only sitting at around 20% railgun shots that connect, whereas vengeurR is hitting just about half of his shots, and we've seen what that can do. Now Cypher did manage to clutch it out, but not without trouble. Landing even a single additional rail could have ended and secured that fight so much sooner. So I think that if vengeurR continues going for these long distance rail engagements, he should still have an edge.
Yeah, and I mean, it was that seemed to be the best spot to try to, stop the rotation that vengeurR had down. There's a nice rail coming out, finally starting to hit a few of those. And with the lead, he now can kind of get in a position where he might be able to steal the rotation of these items as he grabs himself the mega and now will make his way down to the heavy. Does see his opponent there, and that's actually a great sign for Cypher because it doesn't look like vengeurR wants to fight here. He's going to take, a beautiful pop-up with that plasma gun to get a little bit more air there. He lands a nice rail and grabs that heavy. Cypher certainly shifted things around. Another great rail as he looks like he is in complete control here of Ruins.
Nice little rocket to the face. I was still on vengeurR's point of view. The read was tremendous, but now he's stuck with just 15 points of health. Cypher looping back around though. Is he going to give him a way out? No, vengeurR is still just sitting there. Cypher is, of course, going to take advantage of that.
I mean, a hard one, right? Like, because, I mean, I was a little surprised that Cypher went back and grabbed that mega, but it also makes a whole lot of sense. He probably wants to keep that timing as close as it was, and he knew that his opponent, vengeurR, was kind of in that rough spot. But, of course, as I'm sitting here blabbering, suddenly we see, vengeurR setting up a nice trap of his own as Cypher came up that jump pad, got some damage, finished him off with the shotgun, and is on the board, 2-1.
Literally 1 point of health though. vengeurR standing his ground, knowing of course that the shotgun will be devastating to a larger champion like Keel, but it was a very close gamble. Still, he might be able to turn this into something, but Cypher, of course, having that stack advantage of the spawn, wants to make himself heard as he applies pressure off the bat. This mega is important. vengeurR decides not to even go for it. Does he have timing on heavy? Does he even want to stick around? I don't think so. He's going to give up full control. Maybe go for a little peak rail, misses it. This is risky for the Italian player because he is so outstacked right now, especially after taking that rail.
Yeah, and Cypher is absolutely hitting his shots now. Some great reads coming out. Has an opportunity for a conversion frag, but was so low and does go down 2-3. Still an incredibly close game as these two go back and forth, neither giving the other room to kind of expand their lead at all. And although Cypher was up a little bit there, we're now just up by 1-3-2. vengeurR is going to grab that heavy, and Cypher looking a little low, a little worse for wear here, as we're going to have Mega coming up in 10. And are we going to see a fight over there at the Mega? vengeurR heading on over there right now and knows that it's going to be up any moment, waiting for it, and we'll probably head on down to heavy to see if he can engage in a fight.
I'm loving how vengeurR is like even denying every small armor he can see, doing a little bit of nail gun damage to himself just to make sure that his opponent isn't able to pick it up. And look at that stag that he's working with right now, Wheat. You would absolutely not think that it's Cypher who's playing the champion with the bigger pool. vengeurR absolutely stacked to the max. All he needs to do right now is find Cypher, but of course, he has got to remain cautious. We've seen what Cypher can do with the rockets and the grenade combo, and that is vicious. You don't want to be caught in a bad position anywhere near this opponent.
And, I think you called it out a little bit before, and we've talked about it, where sometimes vengeurR will get comfortable, be a little bit more aggressive, maybe give his opponent some room to grab some items, but that is simply not happening right now. Turret does come out right before that grenade hits, and vengeurR's stack looking very, very nicely. Cypher just kind of picking up the scraps at this point, as vengeurR's doing a great job denying armor and health all around the map. Going back down yet again, both players, you can see Cypher sneaking over here. He needs an opportunity to go in here. It hits up. He does land a rail, but he will not get the armor. We are about to hit the 2-minute warning flea, and vengeurR is still down by 1, despite being in control.
That turret is really proving to be a thorn down cypher's side. I think vengeurR has gotten at least 1, maybe 2 kills with the turret alone landing the final blow, and very often cypher is forced to just split his attention and first try and take down the turret, but here we go, this is an opportunity. vengeurR still picks up the heavy Lancer rail. cypher missing that shot. He could have extended his lead very easily right there, but now all the pressure is on the Maestro player. 90 seconds left to work with 1 frag behind. Very doable still, but he's got to put out the damage.
Yeah, minute 15 left on the clock. vengeurR with the stack advantage, the item advantage. Oh, they passed each other as he falls down, and he is going to give chase a little bit here. Does land a rocket. The heavy does go for vengeurR. But no rail there as cyphers hit quite a few from that back hallway. We hit the 1-minute warning, and now that heavy weight on vengeur's back. He has got to find cypher, get that frag, and then get 1 more to take away victory. This is, the burden is on him right now, and this is cypher's game to run away with, literally. And we have the heavy coming up. Oh, a lot of turret damage right there, chasing away the rail down the hallway. We're tied up 3-3, and the heavy is going to be left back for a pickup that puts him in a great spot. Will he force the fight, or is he going to let the time ride out to sudden death?
I called it weak. The turret has been such a huge help to vengeurR, and that string of damage, that was nearly 100 points, if not more, and that allowed vengeurR to just clean it up with 1 final rail. Now with just a few seconds left, we might as well be in overtime. Both players know that the next frag will decide it all. vengeurR, good rockets, he's gonna push in here, no doubt about that. 1 to end it, and the rail to the foot will clean it up. Maestro vengeurR winning maps back to back. Wheat,
that
vengeurR is looking incredible.
The final moments of that game, really great. Turret placement early on, forced cypher out from that back hallway. As you mentioned, almost 100 points of damage done there. Chase, hit that beautiful rail down the back hallway to tie it back up. I'm not so sure I like the decision that cypher made to actually fight in that room. It started off with the rail from vengeurR. He decided to push the issue a little bit, and then he landed a direct rocket. Still decided, I guess at that point you've got to pretty much just put all your chips in and go for it. But vengeurR set himself up for that sudden death victory very, very nicely with that fight there in the heavy room. Nicely done. Another super close game. That's 2 games going into sudden death, Flea. And even though it means vengeurR won the series, it's still very important, not only for cypher's ranking, but, to keep games away from vengeurR, to let him, not let him pull further and further away in that #1 spot.
Yep, absolutely. cypher still very motivated to win this final one, no doubt about that. And it looks like we've also got clarity about what the actual picks are going to be. cypher does indeed get to play the Slash, but when it comes to vengeurR, he will not be running a second Strog, but will be playing Sorlag instead.
Oh yeah, not a second Strog, so Sorlag going to be coming out for vengeurR. Man, that's still just what a phenomenal game that was. I know there's got to be a little bit of frustration there on cypher's side, but vengeurR, he held on so strong to that control there at the end, and just so nicely done. Really impressive. That's why we keep talking about him. That's why we keep saying this is a player that you need to look out for. cypher always been that player, but when the new kid on the block comes around, you see him improving week over week. He pulls out games like that, 2 high pressure, sudden death situations in the last 20 minutes, and he's come out on top both times. Really impressive. Don't look away and do not sleep on vengeurR. He is quite a remarkable specimen in the world of Quake champions.
Just 19 years old too, can you believe it? The man already taking names left and right. Now, forever 19 in our hearts, of course. He's aged a little bit since then, but still, vengeurR, indeed, as you mentioned it yourself, it takes so much discipline to just keep your cool in those overtimes, in those sudden death situations. And for vengeurR to realize that cypher made a bit of a mistake pushing in all the way to heavy, and then he landed that one rail, that was just the kicker where he was like, hang on, I've got to take this risk. This is a calculated benefit in my favor, and he just pushed in for the win. And that just shows how much strain that these players can be under and still perform at their best. So vengeurR, you said it yourself, don't sleep on him. The man is going to go far.
Chad is like, look, when is he going to no longer be the new kid on the block? And it's like, I don't know, right? He's literally playing against the guy who's been playing Quake for 15 years. Like, what else? I don't know what else you want us to call it. But hey, I'd take the role of new kid on the block all day if you're kicking ass the way that he is, because it just makes you look that much better. And here we go. We're kicking things off. It is Molten Core. Take us away, Flea.
Absolutely, starting things off this time around on vengeur's point of view. Looks like there might be some minor issues right there with the connection, but seems like everything's done and dusted now. Final map of the day, vengeurR playing Sorlag, going up against Slash. And that, Wheat, is the first time today I think we've seen this big of a base stack difference. We've seen lights versus medium, medium versus heavy, but light versus heavy, that means that cypher has got a tremendous task ahead of him, because Sorlag off the spawn, with just one small armor being picked up, can basically go face to face to a small champion like Slash with the major items.
Yeah, I mean, and Spit, right? The two areas that we see a lot of fights happening, which is obviously the two major items, especially here at the heavy. We see Spit coming from the top all the time. It can just ruin your day. So it's certainly an uphill battle here. If anyone can do it, cypher might be that player to get it done. But we start things off a little bit slower. 0-0, 1 minute on the clock. Here we got our first rockets landed by vengeurR and the Spit as well. But cypher says, I don't care about all of that. It is great LG, and he will take the first frag of the game.
Good aggressive push, but look, wait, exactly what I mentioned. Check out vengeur's stack already.
Yep.
Luckily for cypher though, vengeurR didn't have a railgun in that engagement. That probably would have been the tie maker already. But he had to go for the long distance rocket, which cypher of course managed to dodge. As he's setting up for heavy. Pretty decent split between the items, so cypher, very fast, might be able to make it over to Mega as well.
Yeah, you know, with the speed that we see coming out of cypher, I know that he's wanting to hit those rails that he's getting in position for. So far, you know, he's only hit one of those 4 rails, and I mean, he's sitting in the lead with the frag, but I'm pretty sure that's a big part of what he is hoping to do here up against vengeurR, as we're going to have him heading back over to the heavy once again, firing some nice rockets, and Spit gets dropped down, and cypher's going to give chase, but not too much. Looking for that rail shot yet again. Their heavy is picked up, and he will be on his way once again. So, you know, cypher playing this one very impressive. Comes out yet again. Trail goes down. LG right on top of the pit. Oh! I thought he was going to go off the map, but it doesn't matter. He got LG'd anyway, and then off the spawn. Another one for the follow-up. Not going to happen. Gets some huge LG damage. And cypher manages to increase that lead to 2.
And that's just the Slash speed, right? vengeurR was looking out towards the Mega side, expecting cypher to come around the corner, but cypher is so fast with that plasma trail, he just turns right back around and comes at you from the back. So vengeurR completely taken by surprise right there, almost knocked off the map, as you said yourself, and cypher, everybody knows that he is an excellent Slash player, so this should come as no surprise. 2-0 in the lead already.
Yep, and he's showing it right here. As certainly you kind of pointed out, the disadvantage that some players would feel themselves in if they were in a heavy versus a light. But Cypher playing this one, to his strength for sure. A great direct rocket, immediately following up with that LG, and a little scratch of the nose there from vengeurR, and a little bit of frustration, I think, as I don't think he expected this game to start this way.
Absolutely. Now cypher again. They clash. LG on LG. cypher again coming out victorious. This is risky though. The shotgun to the face. Can he keep his distance? Can he land the rockets? He will. 38 points of health left. Dodges and escapes death once more.
Frustration often manifests itself in game as aggression, and that's kind of what we saw there right off the bat. Cypher looking completely in the pilot seat on this one. We're about to hit that 5-minute mark and 5 frags up. I expected that first couple of frags. Like I thought we'd see something like that. Great rail coming out from Cypher as he will just turn tail and run. But I was not expecting a 5 frag lead from Cypher like this. I mean, he's definitely playing phenomenally right now. I think he is in a lot more control than vengeur's ever been so far in this 5 minutes, and continues to keep it up. There are those flick rails that I was talking about earlier that I know Cypher was hoping to hit, and once again backs his opponent into the corner. Heavy is up, but boom, 1, 2, 3 rails. Number 6, beautifully done.
Oh my god, and if we just look at the stats, Cypher 16 major items, vengeurR 3, that's it. He's only managed to pick up a single mega, and adding to that, Cypher is doing nearly 1,000 more points of damage, and we're only halfway through the map. This is just obscene.
Yeah, I mean, even sneaking in there, grabbing that mega, maybe this is Cypher's sort of anger at the last 2 map results manifesting in I know what I'm capable, and I'm going to bring that game to the arena. And again, just all over his opponent, and I cannot believe it, Flea. I am shocked that we have a 6-1 score right now. You would not believe if I called you up. I'm like, yeah, man, Cypher's beating vengeurR 6-1 right now. You would be like, what? How is this happening? But we're seeing it right here play out in front of our eyes.
I turn over and go back to sleep and be like, nah, man, you're joking. That's not happening. That's not happening right now, but indeed it is. We're watching it unfold before our very eyes. Cypher dropping vengeurR, the number 1 ranked player in Europe, down to a -1 scoreline. Even after watching the previous 2 games, you absolutely would not have expected this, given how close the previous matches were.
Yeah, you really wouldn't. And it's a testament to both of the players, right? And the fact that we also couldn't really call this one as strongly as I think we were able to call some of the other matches today. We obviously did say 2-1 for vengeurR, so sitting on that one, but Cypher is playing this one unlike the other 2 maps, and with less than 3 minutes left to go, Cypher looking to say, hey, if I can't take the series win, I want to make a frag movie. And again, some of the frustration that we're seeing on vengeur's cam there he finally gets a frag, putting him back at 0. That's got to feel a little bit better.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to end a game on a -1 scoreline. It's extremely demotivating, and you know that you're better than that, right? When you're a player like vengeurR, you know that you can do so much better than ending in a negative score. So at least he's got that going for him now, but with 2 minutes left on the clock, it seems extremely unlikely that vengeurR is going to be able to change the outcome of this map.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, the way once we hit -1 territory, it just puts you into a mindset that's really, really hard to bounce back from. And speaking of bouncing, amazing rocket did come out there from vengeurR, but Cypher coming over the side is still going to land a rail 0 to 8. And I think that is certainly out of unreachable victory territory. And Cypher is going to use these final moments to add a few more clips to his frag movie for this week's featured match. As vengeurR is not going to give up, and these players don't. But what a contrast, Flea, between games 1 and 2.
Yes, indeed, a very big change right here. And now vengeurR, he still wants to get at least some frags, and he will be happy knowing that in the end, this series went his way, 2-1, but still, we are seeing a cypher unlike anything that we saw in the first 2 maps.
There it is. That's what he needed. Get away from that goose egg, add himself a 1-8, 1 minute left to go. And at this point, cypher is just going to speedy delivery around the map. And there's not much that vengeurR is going to be able to do. But he can at least walk away, Flea, say, I was the series winner. I'm going to remain in the #1 spot. Cypher will still hold on, obviously, to his #2 spot. And certainly these are 2 players over on the EU side that everyone should be watching every single match from now until the finals, because they're going to be so important and will be a back and forth battle on who will take that #1 spot after week 13.
Yeah, absolutely. These 2 are definitely contenders to walk away with the belt when that first finals of the 2nd season of the Quake Pro League kick off, and they will happen rather soon. We're already in week 11, and what a week it's been.
Yeah, incredible matchup. I mean, that last map was exciting for different reasons. Not so much because it was a close one, but because cypher turned on that aggression, turned on what we all know he is capable of, and put on a great display. But the winner of the series goes to vengeurR. And although that last map might have been a little frustrating, it doesn't matter because he holds on to that #1 spot. That's what's important. Yeah, he dropped a map, but that still puts him at 17-6, where cypher is sitting at 13-11 on his map win-loss. And very, very exciting day of Quake. But those first two maps, Flea, I'm gonna remember those as I'm falling asleep tonight.
Oh yeah, they are good. And someone else who I think probably enjoyed those games is about to rejoin us. Ketchup, what did you think about the action we just witnessed?
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Thank you very much. I mean, it was the match that I think we wanted to see. The final map was definitely different compared to, but when these 2 players went head-to-head, you kind of know it's going to be good, and shock horror, it was good. So I can't say I'm too surprised there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we saw the first map, right? I was thinking about the sudden death, and both of the sudden deaths ended within 30 seconds beyond the sudden death, right? First one was within 10 seconds. The second one was within about 20 seconds down there at the heavy. So very, very exciting. You think about the trajectory of QPL and where we're at in stage 1. And, we've talked about so many, like a diverse group of players who is so close in skill level, and there's not, like, the gaps are certainly closing. And I do think that the next couple weeks and then going into the finals, we're going to see some of our best games that we have seen here in the QPL. And for any Quake fan, that is really exciting.
But also, as we do get closer and closer to the kind of all-important finals, this is really where things will be ramping up. Those important maps, those important moments where you can clutch it out. You kind of need to go into the stage 1 finals knowing that you kind of have what it takes to get that job done. Because it's one thing to sort of win those kind of maps when we're really close to finals, but to lose it, I think, can be a lot more almost like a stabbing, you know what I mean? Like, It's not going to be a good feeling, is it? But it's, as we've always said, it's just about going into future weeks knowing that, okay, well, let's try and correct this or that or whatever the case might be. I have just been informed that we have vengeurR here ready to go. How's it going, mate? Well done.
Hello, thank you. How are you? I'm doing good, thank you.
No
Good.
problem.
Congrats.
Congrats,
Thank
man. Congrats. Now, I mean, I guess I kind of need to ask a bit more of a generic question. How are you feeling after this series?
Honestly, I was not expecting to win. That's my honest opinion. I have been struggling a lot in the past few weeks, and I didn't really find a way to bring my A game, and I have been struggling so much and trying to win every week. Like in the past 3 matches, I lost 2 times, and I played really poorly. So I just tried to step up a little bit more. I don't know. I honestly didn't expect to win. If I'm, yeah. So I'm happy about that.
Well done.
Thank you.
Sure. Perhaps a question about that last game, vengeurR, because you won the first 2. They were very close and you did manage to edge out the win, but the last one, you were even on -1 for quite some time. What happened? How did it end up that way?
I don't know, man. Just cypher slash. I try to think about some ways to counter, because actually going into the matchup, I think it was the only one where I felt comfortable. I don't know. I just got outplayed really hard, and yeah.
I mean,
Unlucky.
you know, that's Quake a little bit, right? Sometimes when you feel the most comfortable, you play the game you didn't expect, and when you don't feel comfortable, you end up winning. I want to talk about the 2 sudden deaths, right? Sudden death in any situation, it's a little tense. The pressure kind of gets up there, but in both cases, you handled it very, very well. I want to ask about Ruins, because the sudden death fight took place down at the heavy. And there was an exchange of rails. I believe you hit one of those. You nailed him with a direct rocket. Were you surprised that cypher continued to engage in that fight and didn't actually move back, or did it play out kind of as you expected?
I think it was scared from the previous fight where I set a trap with a turret around the mega area, and it was the same exact fight. And when it went up, he died the first time. So maybe he thought that there was the turret again down there below.
That makes sense.
I was surprised, of course, because I had so much more stock than him, and I was really surprised we took fight on that exact moment. So I just managed to hit what I had to hit. He didn't really hit anything, only an 8 or something like that. So I had a lot of stock going to actually down below into the heavy area. But yeah.
Thank you. And hey, congrats on holding on to the #1 spot. Great games. Everyone enjoyed it, including the chat. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
I suppose one final question here, mate. We are very close indeed. The stage 1 finals, where things are starting to ramp up, and obviously everyone will be going as hard as they can for it. I know that you do, you understandably hold yourself to a high standard, because you are one of the best players out there, and you are continuing to get better and better as every finals rolls out, right? So when it comes to the upcoming finals for stage 1, is there going to be kind of changes in your practice time? What's your kind of training regime shaping up to be in the coming weeks?
First of all, I just hope to play more, because I really didn't have the opportunity this past few weeks because of things outside Quake. So I just try to play a bit more and grind the game. And other than that, I'm starting to feel a bit better. I just hope I will. The only thing I hope is that I can play my best. So no matter what the result will be, I will have no problems about that. Whatever the placement is, as long as you play your best and you know that you gave it all. That's the most important thing. And whatever the result is, I think, Quake is awesome. And wherever we will win, we'll be the best player. And we are such in a crazy situation right now. So we are really lucky to be able to compete and with all the stuff going around us. So I'm just really thankful for the opportunity.
It's always nice to hear a bit of positivity right now. So thank you very much for that. Well done again. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the weeks to come. And we'll have to say goodbye to you for now, but it won't be for long, because it's been a good day, folks. We're about to wrap up here and have a quick recap about the day. I'm going to ask you, starting with Flea, highlight matches of the day, if this is quite an easy one.
The last 2, right? They were exceptional. Sparty versus Avic, and then now vengeurR versus cypher. And based on that first map, I had a quick look at the updated scoreboard already. Sparty is currently placed 3rd in Europe, in what is arguably the most competitive European scene we've seen in the Quake Pro League. This is the man that was struggling to stay in the league, fighting for his life in relegation, and he's now ranked 3 when it comes to points.
Hell
Absolutely yeah. Terrific job. Congratulations. And yeah, spectacular game.
Man, it was all great, right? I've said it. I'm going to sound a little bit like a broken record, but Ketchup, like, as the weeks go on, you know, you're seeing players really become conscious of where they are in the standings and what they need to do in order to hold on. Challenger League is unfolding right now, and undoubtedly new beasts will come from there to try to interrupt those who are competing already in QPL. So this is the most exciting, I think, time of the entire stage, and it just means that, you know, once we get to the finals and then kick into stage 2, it's just going to continue to heat up. I'm so impressed with how much improvement we've seen across the board. And, you know, to Flea's point, the EU bracket has been an absolute, you know, pleasure to see. But also, we have to give a shout out to some of the NA improvement that we've seen. You know, Chain, DeHang looked great today as well. So I'm just really excited for the collision of these two regions to come together and give us the games we all want.
I think that's what we're all starting to look forward to, though, the idea of the two territories kind of clashing and going head to head. And you know, we've had enough online finals now to see that it doesn't really hinder the player performances too much. So I think we can strap ourselves in and prepare for a good set of games to come. But we still need to reach that point. But everyone, unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. So I want to extend a massive thank you to the very talented DJ Wheat and Flea. Always a pleasure having you guys on the show, and looking forward to sticking around, you know, for more of that great action to come. But also, you know, the hardworking production teams behind the scenes, the players that are giving it their best every single week under the world's current conditions. You know, it can't be easy, and we appreciate their efforts. And you lovely people at home for tuning in every week and joining the Quake journey with us. You know, it's always a special time. Quake Sundays, gotta love them, and there's plenty more Quake where that came from. So for one final time, my name has been Ketchup, joined by DJ Wheat and Flea. This has been the Quake Pro League, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Peace.